A very good evening to all of you. Hello and welcome, guys. My name is KP Singh, and I welcome one and all to today's session of Insight. And today I have a wonderful panel of three students from HNLU Raipur. We have Harsimran Kaur with us from second year of her law school, Amogh Koname from third year, and Aditya Singh from the fourth year. If the audio is fine, all of you can see the screen, please write down yes in the comment section of your YouTube chat box. Welcome, Anushka. Welcome, dear Modi ji. Welcome, Ashwarya Malik. Welcome, Satej. Chale, guys. Okay. So, guys, if you have any question throughout the session, you can post it in the comment section. We will go through the Q&A in the end. We will also pick up a few questions while we are discussing various aspects of their law school life. Thank you so much, guys, for the response. We'll start. Well, HNLU Raipur is always ranked among the top 10 law schools in a country. If you look at the latest ranking list, this law school is currently placed at 6th position. So that makes it one of the most premium institutes to pursue law in our country. And I'm expecting this session to be very interactive and very insightful for all of you. If you guys have any question related to the law school life, feel free to ask. These are the people who are actually living it. You can see your future you in these three guys, and anything which you think shouldn't be asked in online session, you can send me a text. I will try to rephrase the question for you. So HNLU Raipur is always considered among the top 10. And when we were preparing for law school, we aspired to get into a college like that. It was established in the year 2003, and it is 6th in the series of national law schools across India. The very first one being National Law School Bangalore, established in 1988. So HNLU Raipur has been named after the legendary Justice Mohammad Hidayatullah. I hope some of you guys know about him. And those of you don't, Google about the only person in Indian history to have headed the executive as well as judicial branch of a country. So once again, I give you a warm welcome, all of you, for joining this session, and a very warm welcome to all my co-panelists. We at IMS help students to get into good law schools. And if you're thinking about preparing for a law program, I would recommend all of you to check out IMS India's website. You can also register for a zero-free program by creating a zero-free account. You will get a lot of content free of cost, and you can get to know how superior this content is vis-a-vis other options available. If you want to get a one-to-one counseling session, you can get in touch with your nearest IMS center. And you can also ask for a demo session from any of the centers available next to you. My name is KP Singh. I did my law from Law School Punjab and Masters from Law School Kolkata, and I've been pursuing a PhD for past few years. I've been mentoring kids for past 9 years now, and I've been associated with IMS for past 2 years. So with this note, we'll start. Okay, guys. So we'll start with the basic introduction. I want all of you to give at least a brief idea about your background. Like where did you guys start your preparation from? How did you get inspired to get into a law school, and what was your preparation journey about or like? We'll start with the senior most member in the panel. So over to you, Aditya.
So I would suggest that you start with the junior most member, because this is a more relevant question.
Whatever the seniors say, that is the unwritten rules in law school life. Chale. So Harsimran, will have to start with you. A brief introduction about you. Like, where are you from?
I'm from New Delhi. So how that happened to me was a total journey. Started like standard. I had to choose the subject. Now, when it came the humanities, science, and commerce, and I was a very studious one, so people expected that I would expand my interest towards doing law, and also from there on, I chose humanities, and CLAT happened, CLAT and the related coachings and all. So I started preparing for CLAT at around mid of 11th.
Okay. Shall so Harsimran is facing
an internet issue.
Yes. So we'll move on to Amogh. Amogh, over to you, buddy. So where are you from? How did this idea of getting into law school got into your mind? How did you prepare, and so far, what has been your experience with law school?
I'm from Karnataka, Mangalore to be specific. And I have some relatives who are lawyers. And when you have relatives who are in a certain profession, you tend to gravitate towards that. But I think the main driving force which led me to choose law was I didn't want to do engineering, I didn't want to do medicine, so I ended up doing law, and that's how I'm there at HNLU.
Okay, chaliye. So Aditya, a brief
Sir, I think my story is very funny if I look at it that way, sir, because personally, sir, I never wanted to do law. Sir, I was never interested in law. But as we know, as we have this trend in a lot of places in India, I believe even today, that people consider only two streams to be the most valid streams, engineering or medical. People still believe that that is the only thing you should be doing to be successful. So I was also from one of those kind of a family, sir. So I studied PCMB in my 11 and 12. So I gave the All India NET and I gave the All India JE exam as well. So after giving those exams, I obviously failed miserably in those exams. So after that, I gave this CLAT exam and I got through the exam. So I took law matlab, as a side thing at that time, and I thought that I'll try to do something different when I am in college. So that is what I did as well, sir. When I came to college from my first semester, I started teaching. I started preparing people for the CLAT exam, as well as I started teaching for CAT as well in the meantime. So I tried to build this skill of teaching, and that is what I did, and that is what I'm looking forward into getting into also after my 5th year, sir. That is what I'm thinking.
Okay, Aditya, where are you from? Which city?
Sir, I am from Kolkata.
Kolkata.
West
Okay.
Bengal. Yeah.
City of Joy. Acha, chaliye. So, Aditya, this is true for almost, I think, 2/3 of Indian parents or middle-class families.
Yes, sir.
Even in my life, I faced similar dilemma. When I completed my 12th, my dad gave me, I reached 11th standard, my dad gave me only two options. Either you go for medical science or you go for engineering. So he had a very clear-cut hierarchy in his mind. So as per him, the most successful people in society would be the doctors, then there are engineers, and then there's kachara. That is rubbish. Then I started exploring about different options. And I came across law as an option. Then I went back to him and I posed a question. So Dad, if you think that doctors are the most successful people, then can you name among the top 100 most successful people in a country, how many of them are MBBS doctors? So with this question in mind, when I went back to him, pehle to daat pada, obviously he was a cop, so he was not in the habit of taking counter questions. But then he gave it a thought and he couldn't come up with even a single name. Then I started exploring more and more about this field, and I came to know that you pick up any country, any time frame, people leading the nation always come from the field of law, starting from Abraham Lincoln, going to Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, Theresa May, Angela Merkel, Vladimir Putin or Joe Biden. You pick up any country, not just that, just take up India. महात्मा गांधी से लेकर मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना, सरदार पटेल से लेकर पंडित नेहरू और बाबा साहेब अंबेडकर से लेकर राजेंद्र प्रसाद. Almost everybody who was fighting for our independence was a lawyer. So that was my impetus to get into the law school. Chaliye, we'll try to get back to Harsimran. Can you please switch on your camera and try to speak? We'll see if the audio is fine this time.
Yes, sir.
Much better.
Is it fine now?
Yes, it is. Well, it was for a brief moment. Okay, Harsimran, I'm giving you a free pass. You can speak up whenever you think that your audio is working. I think we again lost your video. If you are in the same campus, why don't you move to where these guys are? That way you will get better.
Actually, the girls' hostel and the guys' hostel is different. So they are in
Actually,
their
we are in the
hostels
boys'
and I am
hostel,
in mine.
sir.
So is HNLU discriminating between boys' hostel and girls' hostel?
No, sir. It is discriminating not on the basis of boys or girls, sir. Because the internet, when you come out of the city, the internet tends to become a little shaky, sir. That's the problem here.
So chaliye, so we will start with questions which these kids would like to know the most about, like your preparation journey. How did you guys start? What all resources did you use? And how did you tackle each and every section? So let's say we'll go with Amog this time. Amog, over to you, buddy.
Sir. I took coaching for that. I took 2 years coaching, and in the first year I wouldn't say I prepared a lot. I took it easy, but the thing is, I kept we had reading comprehension, and I think legal. We had legal reasoning, reading comprehension, and all that. The thing I did was I had books for that. In the coaching center that I went, they gave us books, and I just started reading those things. And GK was a thing in which I struggled, but towards the end of the first year, I started seriously studying, and in the final 3-4 months, I went at it with full focus, and I cleared it. The thing with my batch was we had a very easy exam. So I was expecting, to land in Kolkata, but since we had a very easy exam, a lot of people actually scored really well, and I ended up at HNLU. But the thing is, after ending up at HNLU, I don't think I can say that I have any regrets joining this college. I'd say, life at HNLU is just as good as life at NUJS. Where I was expecting to be. So that's it.
Sorry. So you prepared for 2 years, is that right?
Yeah. I took coaching for 2 years.
So did you start in 11th standard or did you repeat for a year?
No, I'm a fresher.
You started in 11th?
Yeah, 11th.
Great.
I'd say I prepared in the first year though. I took it very lightly, but it's not like I was not, focused on this also. I did prepare, but I wouldn't call it preparation.
So basically you got into that law school by preparing for 1 year, not 2 years.
Yeah, you can say it.
Or seriously preparing for 1 year.
Yeah.
So it's not that difficult to crack this exam, even if you prepare like 3 months.
Yeah. All you need is basic understanding of the language, and very little analytical skill. And if you have that, I think anyone can crack the top 50. That's my opinion.
Anyone can be in top 50.
Yeah. You can join NLS also. No problem.
Sorry, moving on to Harsimran.
I would just add on to what he said right now. Like, it's not about the time that you have taken into your preparation. It's not about that I've spent 2 years or I've spent 3 years or I've spent 3 months. It's about the base that you have. Now, considering the change of pattern that we see, reading comprehension and logical based CLAT is there. And this happened to my batch that we were earlier preparing for a different pattern, and all of a sudden we get to know of a new pattern. But considering that now that we are clear about the pattern, we know how the things are. So if you are studying, like if you have a basic study, like you read newspaper, you do it very inherently, then it's not that of a big deal that you would need some particular years to prepare for this exam. Considering the pattern now, and if you read newspaper, you have a basic logical reasoning, sir. Logical reasoning, I used to think that what's the purpose of logical reasoning in maths in a law entrance exam. But the thing is, when we study logical reasoning, we don't realize it. But even now, when I've entered into the law school and I've spent like 2 years, I still feel that those logics are important, and they are somehow important in the daily life as well. You need logic in law, and logical reasoning is the most essential subject I found while preparing for CLAT, and it was the most interesting subject as well. So my journey started when I was in the 11th standard, when I took humanities, and I started preparing with the coaching center. But the same thing happened to me, that in 11th I tried to be sincere enough, but then when you know that you have a good amount of time, then you are ought to be a little lenient. So the full-fledged preparation went on in 12th, and we got extra time as well. But what happened to me was that I got panic when I was appearing in the exam, stressing about. I started focusing on than doing that particular time. So I suggest to all the students listening to me that when you are in the exam hall and when you are giving in a mock test, then just give your best. Don't think about that. How would I be scored after this? I think my internet is again lagging. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, but your video is lagging. So we'll move on. We'll get back to you in a couple of minutes. So yes, logical reasoning is a very scoring and interesting subject. And as they say, you were not, as you were saying that you were not very serious in the first year of your preparation, but you got serious in the second year, right? So in my law school days, they used to say that seriousness of a student is inversely proportional to the number of days left to the exam. So exam jitna nazdik hai, student utna hi zyada sincere hota chala jata hai. So, but if you get serious enough in right time, you will be able to give your best. So moving on to Aditya. Aditya, what do you think should be the focus area for these kids if they have to prepare, if they want to start preparing right now?
Sir, if you ask me about this, like it's been a lot of time I've been teaching. I haven't taught Harsimran. She's also one of the people I have taught for CLAT. So, sir, what I believe is there are a couple of things which I personally believe in, sir. One is if you need a couple of things to crack an exam. It doesn't matter whether it is CLAT, whether it is maybe a SAT exam or a CAT exam, any exam for that matter, no matter how tough it is. Sir, I think there are a couple of things which you definitely need. One is self-belief. If you don't have self-belief, I think it is impossible. Without self-belief, you cannot crack any exam. And sir, like Harsimran said, that you must have a base. It depends on what kind of base you have. I totally agree. If you have an aptitude, it definitely helps you for the exam. But if you don't have an aptitude, if you have a weaker aptitude, you can build it over the period of time. If you ask me currently, I had taught someone for a month for a crash course for CLAT 2021. So, sir, what I figured out is when you have less time, it's not like it's undoable, but you need to give more number of hours in this less time. Just say if I have 40 days, I have to study 100 days ka material in those 40 days. So I have to give more effort, more time. And if I'm determined, focused, sir, I'm definitely sure there is no, if you are really willing to work hard and you are not just hard work, I'll say if you are smart with your work also, then I'm sure you'll succeed if you get the right guidance and the right material, that is.
So what was your strategy to prepare for general knowledge? This is, I think most of the students want to know about GK. This is one area which scares them the most.
So, जैसे earlier when I started preparing for CLAT, sir, मतलब when I started my preparation, when I had joined a coaching, sir, what had happened was previous year I had a rank of 15,000. So I was horrible. I was horrible at math. I was horrible at logic, GK, every section for that matter. So, sir, what I think with GK, what personally worked for me, and I think it works for a lot of people, is first thing, I don't rely on notes from any XYZ person or any coaching for that matter, because I believe that it's good that they give out notes. Different coachings have different materials, but I think when you make your notes yourself, when you collect material from 4 different sources, and when you write them down or when you type it out and when you look at it 2-3 times, that helps you understand, helps you memorize also, and you remember things before the exam also. So I personally believe, not if not 1 year is not doable for a lot of people, at least past 6 months from the CLAT exam, I think you should have your notes ready, and preferably from 3-4 sources, not just one website, maybe from a newspaper, a website, and one good monthly magazine, whichever works, sir.
Okay, Harsimran, so because you attempted the new CLAT pattern and you also prepared for the previous CLAT pattern, so what differences did you find, or what changes you had to make in your preparation plan?
So, sir, as the pattern changed, we realized that and one particular passage from a particular news topic would hold a amount of weightage in the exam. Earlier, the pattern was that you had just one MCQ, and if you missed some flash news, you could avoid it. But now sir and my another mentor, what we did was we divided the topics into lists. So, like right now, we have the topic of Ukraine and USSR crisis, Russia crisis. So this is a burning topic, and topics like these, we divided them into lists. So highly important topics, which have the highest probability of coming into the exam. Some medium important topics, some topics which would be like there is a chance they might come. So we divided 3 lists, and we firstly segregated those topics and said. What we
So I will try to summarize what Harsimran explained. I think you are losing your audio. Try to get reconnected. चलिए, so देखिए, cooperate to dominate. It's not just about being best in the small group that you're studying with, but you can always divide study material. You can challenge each other and make sure that all of you are progressing together. So because you're not competing with just 5, 10 or 50 kids from your coaching or your city, rather you have to compete with 50,000 odd kids across India. So you need to make sure that you are challenging yourself every day. You're trying to expand your boundaries. You have to expand your knowledge base, and that will require a lot of reading. Moving on to Amog, let's move out from the preparation part and let's talk more about your college, because people are continuously posting questions related to the college, HNLU Raipur. So Amog, how has your life been? Rather, this question should be first posed to Aditya because you have lived there the longest.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
why should one aspire to get into HNLU Raipur, and how is HNLU Raipur? Life at HNLU Raipur. Aditya, then Amog. One thing I got to know, HNLU Raipur has horrible Wi-Fi connection.
That's wrong.
Chale,
So
Amog,
we
you
are
can-
going
Go.
to mobile data.
Amog, please continue. Yes, buddy.
I joined this college in 2019, and that was a period of time we saw, a transition in our college. We had a massive protest. We had a legendary massive protest just a year back. I was one of our batch was one of the first, who entered the college after its transformation. So I think the edge that HNLU gets over, all other colleges is that if you go to the top law schools, you will have, I think HNLU has a much more diverse crowd in terms of, interests of, people's interests, students' interests, their choice of profession, their choice of occupation, when they go forward. See, I'll give you an example. Our alumni base has aspiring musicians. We have entrepreneurs like, we have aspiring entrepreneurs like Aditya. We have, people who are really good at sports. We have aspiring filmmakers. And obviously we have our corporate lawyers. We have our, litigation advocates and all that. I don't think you'll get, this diverse crowd in any other place. I'll tell you one major reason for this, existence of this diverse crowd is that in our college, there is no pressure as such of, being a corporate lawyer only. Let's say you go to a top law school. So you will go there with a mindset that, you only want to pursue corporate law. In our college, there is no pressure from the college. I mean, there'll always be peer pressure depending on who your peers are. There'll always be peer pressure that, okay, you have to get into corporate law, or you'll have to be a litigation advocate and all that. But there are groups within our college, like I said, entrepreneurs, aspiring musicians, filmmakers. You have a lot of creativity. You have a lot of diversity in our college. So I think that is an edge that our college gets over any others.
We also have a person who is going to become a football manager in Europe. He's working for this academy. I forgot the name of the club.
He's gone to Italy. He's gone to Italy and he's working towards. But that does not mean that they came to this college and then found out they don't like law. The point is that they came to this college and they had space to pursue whatever interest they have. That is one thing that I think no other college gives you.
Okay, can you give me an idea about the daily life of a student in HNLU Raipur? Like, how does your day look like?
Do you want? Are you asking for specific, mess timings, stuff like
Not
that?
specific mess timings. Like, what are the class timings? How many guest faculties do visit your campus on weekly or daily basis?
Yeah. Currently, because of the COVID situation, our guest lectures and all are restricted to online, online mode. But earlier we used to have regular, guest lectures. We had Gautam Bhatia, Dr. Gautam Bhatia, if you know, he's a very famous constitutional lawyer. We had Abhinav Sekri. We had a lot of eminent legal thinkers. even people who are not into law, maybe into social service, we had invited a lot of people. We get regular guest lectures and all that. Our classes start at 8, and depending on the batch you are in, it either ends at 2:30, 1 o'clock, or 4:30. Because I think the first years have 7 subjects, this thing, whereas the rest of us have 6 subjects. So depends on that.
So first year is more rigorous.
Huh?
Is the first year more rigorous than other years?
No, the thing is their subjects are easier. For them, the focus is more on BA subjects. Whereas from the second year, in the first year, you'll have 2 law subjects, but then slowly your law subjects start increasing and your BA subjects start reducing.
So when you reach your penultimate year, you have to pick your optional subjects.
Yes.
Right. So what are the areas that a student can pick from?
So I think I should be answering this question,
Aditya,
sir,
yes,
because
why not? The one who's
not be knowing. Yeah. Sir, when you get into your penultimate year, there are some things which change actually. One of them which changes is that your BA subjects are over. You are done with it after your 6th semester. When you come to your 7th semester, you have certain compulsory honors subjects, couple of them. You have 2 subjects apart from them, which you get allotted by the university itself. Apart from that, you have an option of 1 optional in each of the semesters. So you can choose 4 optionals in your entire degree from 7th to 10th semester. And so you can choose various different kind of subjects, like you have interpretation of statutes, banking, media and law, women in law, maritime law, international commercial arbitration, anything which you want. So you have, I think there are more than 20-25 optional subjects which you can choose from, but you need to have a certain number of students in that subject in order for the teacher to teach. So there should be at least 10 or 12 children interested in a certain subject, then only the subject come into being in the certain semester. So, but there are some popular subjects which most of the people choose. There are some less favored subjects which others also choose. So
is
that
it like
totally
bulk
depends
of
on
the batch will go for corporate law?
So actually, I'll tell you the situation in HNLU is slightly different as compared to other national law universities, because I'll personally say that we are in the tier 2, not in the tier 1, I'll say. So if we are in the tier 2, sir, we have limited corporate placements which happen from the campus. So from the campus, you can say that 60-70 students are getting placed for corporate jobs through PPOs as well as placements. Apart from that, there is another thing which is good about HNLU, which I'll say is not there in any NLU in the entire country. That is, there is a Chhattisgarh Law Ministry Secretariat over here. It personally takes 20, 30, 40 students from each batch and gives them a job contract for 1 year. You can work over there for 1 year. You can get a monthly pay of 65,000 rupees. And after 1 year, if you wish, you can get it extended or you can move to another job. So it gives you basically a 1 year relaxation period where you at least have a job, you're not unemployed. So that is one good thing about the college, I'd like to say. And sir, apart from that, I think many people opt for LLM, so they go outside. There are a lot of opportunities. People are going to leader and major leading universities in the around the globe, sir. And I think every year HNLU has a history of getting many people into good universities in Europe as well as Australia, US. Apart from this, sir, I think another benefit from HNLU, which I have personally seen, is that a lot of people here give the judiciary, sir. And if they give the judiciary exam, there are a lot of people who become civil judges or first class magistrates. That is what people go for as well. Some people become public prosecutors as well. So, sir, I won't say HNLU is limited to corporate law, but I'll say, yeah, 50% of the crowd, you can say they want a corporate job. But many people after coming to college, they are like, mujhe corporate karna hai when they are coming to college. When they see the corporate world, they do the internships, they are like, they have a change of mind. They are like, no more corporate. I want to do something else. So, sir, that is something which keeps happening. Yes, sir.
Initially, when people join, the objective is to mint money as soon as possible and as much as possible.
Exactly.
Later on, people realize that there is money in every stream. So it is not that if you get into litigation, you won't be making money. It is not that if you get into government services, you won't be making money. But obviously, top tier law firms will give you a cushy job.
Will give you a lot of money, sir, but they will also take a lot of blood from you,
take
sir,
away your soul
in return.
So top tier law firm jobs are those who are workaholic, and law firms will make you workaholic even if you're not. So
Yes,
there's
sir,
a very high
definitely.
attrition level. I see that every 3 or 4 years, people quit top tier law firms and then they get into all these other avenues. People
Yes,
start
sir.
writing judicial service exam. People get into international agencies. They will also try to get into, they will start their own business. There are many other things that people
You
are
can,
doing.
there are a lot of things actually. You can get into research stands, you can do litigation. There are a number of opportunities after you're done with your degree. There's a lot to do actually.
Students are generally more interested about the placement. So how is college helping you guys out in getting good placements? Is the placement committee in place? Are they working towards inviting more companies and more MNCs and firms to the college? What
Okay,
is the
so
college HNLU
I'll
role in it? Yes, sir.
yes, sir. I think I will answer this question again because I think my mates don't know much about it since they are in the junior years. So, sir, I'll tell you, there are two kinds of committees which work in HNLU. One is an internship coordination committee. The work of that committee is to work with you to streamline your internships, to get you internships in the field of interest which you have, and to accordingly set you on a path. And, sir, I think you don't necessarily get a matlab, this is the truth which I think we need to speak. You don't always get a job from campus placements. That isn't the truth for every national law university in this country. Maybe it is true for the top 5 NLUs. I don't think it's true for every NLU after that. So, sir, I don't say that campus placements don't happen. They definitely happen. Companies come, people go, they get placed. But, sir, most I say there is much more apart from campus placements. If you are good at your internships, you get a PPO in your third, fourth year, and you can work with that. If you don't know, a PPO is a pre-placement offer, which is offered to you in your third or fourth year. And if you get a agreement with them, and that after you finish your degree, you go and work with them at a certain specified wage rate. So that is what a PPO is. Apart from that, I think placements also happen to a certain limited degree. Not that it's not like NUJS ki 0 day pe everybody gets placed, but we have a considerable amount of placement. I'll say 80-90 people per batch in the corporate firms, in good firms actually.
For those of you who don't know, 0 day means the placement day. Companies will be visiting your campus. It is either a 1 day or a 2 day event, and your entire campus will turn into a recruitment center. All your classes will become interview rooms. Various companies and firms occupying different classrooms, and then they will interview kids. They will conduct their test, and based on your CV, your performance, your internships, and various other, basically your profile, they will make offers to you. So at NUGS, as Aditya was rightly pointing out, they have a very good track record of an amazing 0 day placements every year. When in 2017, I got to know that there were more number of companies than the number of students studying at NUGS. That made a huge difference.
But I also want to add one more thing. I'll say that this is one thing people ask me a lot. Matlab, when I teach people for CLAT also, people ask me that what if I work so hard, I get a rank of 800, then I go to RGNUL or for that matter RML or HNLU, then you don't have a 100% record like NUJS. Then I'll just like to tell you one thing. Yeah, this is what I personally believe, and I think both of these guys will agree with me on the same thing as well. That is, if you are hardworking and if you are determined enough to work hard, keep your GPA maintained, keep your internships in line, nobody can stop you from getting a job even in TNN unless Chennai. Okay, so I won't. HNLU is much above that, and you can easily get a job. All you need to be is serious. You need to be determined. How obviously, if you come to college and relax, तो थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा. That is one thing, because opportunities are higher at higher NLUs. They keep decreasing as you go down. That is the truth.
There's a follow-up question to it, and I would allow all of you to respond to that. Whether a student should go for a drop or not. So let's say if I'm not getting a very good rank in my first attempt, will it be a good decision? So let's say if you get into Tamil Nadu National Law School in your first attempt, and then many will decide to give a drop year and try to get into the top 5 or top 7. So is that a good decision, and should everybody take it? What's your personal take? I don't want.
I think everybody will have very different answers to this question. Maybe I think no same answers for this question. But yeah, I think you can start with Harsimran. Harsimran, yes.
Simran, yes.
So, sir, as a person, like this is kind of very subjective and depends from person to person. But I am someone who cannot just prepare for one entrance exam throughout a year and not do anything else. Like, मेरे को FOMO बहुत ज़्यादा होगा. I would think that other students are going to the university, they are doing this and that. I cannot. So that was the reason that I started preparing early, because I did not want to take a drop and prepare for the exam. The same was the case like when I was allotted with HNLU. Even there was a second thought that should I really try CLAT again? But the things happened in a way that I was so settled in this place and I did not want to leave it. So the second thoughts which were coming that should I attempt it again, they vanished. So the thing is, sir, that if you are getting a university like TNLS, you're not supposed to leave it. Take it as an option and take a drop alongside. Many of my friends did that. So what happens in that case is that you at least have a backup option. Don't close your back doors, because if in case the other year we are very unsure about the patterns and the things that might happen on the exam day. So if you're getting a university, take that university and alongside prepare, and keep your mindset as such that you devote good time to CLAT as well, and then give an attempt. In case you do not clear it in the next attempt, you can continue with the university.
Right. So you should always have a safety net. So rather than going for a pure drop, you should always take admission at some or the other institute. And then if you want to retake exam next year, that's completely open to you. But there have been cases, as Aditya was pointing out, that answer differs from person to person. Simran feels that there is a fear of missing out. But in that case, I would recommend people, if you have already decided to drop a year, or if you have already dropped a year, you should always try to study in groups. So that will take care of your FOMO to an extent. So don't completely just limit your life to your CLAT preparation. Have a social life, interact with others, get into sports, do everything that you would do otherwise in your normal day-to-day life. So that way you will not miss out much. And yes, leaving 1 year of your life will not change the world for you. Right. So, okay. Sorry, moving on to Amog. Amog, there's a question from Rakhi Suraj. Is it necessary to speak in English? People from the Hindi heartland have this fear of English, and they feel when they go to law school, they will have FOMO.
No, there's no such thing as, yeah, in the beginning. See, I'll tell you one thing. Any national law university, or at least, any of the top 10 national law university, top 12 national law university, all of them will be cosmopolitan in nature. Personally, I'm a South Indian. I have a reasonable Hindi, reasonable this thing in Hindi. But the thing is, and I prefer speaking in English. But the point is, there are a lot of people from the Hindi heartland who speak in Hindi. It's not like people will judge you if you don't know Hindi, if you don't know English, nor will they judge you if you don't know Hindi. The point is, it's a cosmopolitan campus, and you can always pick up English, you can always pick up language. It's not like you can't pick languages up. You can come into the college, you can speak in Hindi, you can learn English, and you can leave out speaking both Hindi, English, and whatever other languages you want.
So there's a language lab in your university. So is college helping out students to improve their speaking skills? What all activities are conducted?
I'd say you learn more about languages through your through interaction with your peers. See, like I said, when you're in a cosmopolitan campus, you will not limit yourself to just one language. I came with very minimal knowledge of Hindi, but the thing is, I have friends who speak day in and day out in Hindi. So I was forced to, I was almost forced to learn Hindi, so that I don't feel left out of the group. And it's the same way when I have South Indian friends, and with them I speak in whatever language we speak in. And the Hindi people also, they may not learn the language, but they'll also try to, join in.
We'll pick up words, a few slangs for sure.
Yeah. So there's no such thing as, I just want to say that no one should have fear, that, you don't know a language, so you'll be left out of a group or anything. See, I'm pretty sure this is there in almost all NLUs. nobody's going to judge you based on what languages you can speak, what you can't. That's it.
Simran, how much time have you spent in Raipur?
Sir, it's just now that I've come like 15 days.
15.
Earlier, it was the totally online semester. Can I just add to what Amok was saying
Please do.
about the yes, sir. So the concern of that particular student was whether we can speak in any language or so. So we are all law students, and you are also upcoming law students, and we realize that we have a very important right of freedom. Like it's our choice, and the campus like HNLU is a very free place. It's up to you what you want to wear, what you want to dress like, what you want to eat, what you want to speak like. It's not dependent upon anybody, and nobody judges you here. It's totally a free place and an independent place. It's just up to you how you want to carry yourself. If you want to learn a new language, it's up to you. And if you don't want to, nobody would force you. So it's a very free place. And about Raipur, sir, I'm just enjoying the place. I'm exploring the campus. It has just been 15 days that I'm here.
Aditya, would you like to recommend a few places in Raipur that our Simran should definitely go to? Any good experiences,
Yes.
anecdotes from your 4 years in Raipur?
So I have, in terms of theory, sir, it's been 4 years, but in reality, sir, it has been 2 years for me because we spent 2 years almost during the COVID time at home. So, sir, I think Raipur, it is pretty decent. I won't say that Raipur is somewhere in between a metropolitan city and a less developed city. It is somewhat developing. That is what the right word is for Raipur. So there are many places actually, sir. The only kind of disadvantage in HNLU is that it's quite far from the city. So you have to travel for an hour to go to the city. That is an issue. But if you go to the city, there are plentiful places. You get good things to eat and you have a lot of places to chill. You can watch movies.
Does
also. There's a
university
lot.
provide you accommodation if you want to travel to the
It
town?
does provide us accommodation, but it does provide us buses every day. But during the COVID pandemic, things have changed a little. So there are rules, there are restrictions. But I'm sure by the next time it opens, next semester, everything will be normal again.
Yes, sir. The bus facility is working fine. Yesterday only I traveled, so it's working pretty well. And also I too enjoy this thing that campus is pretty far from the city because being a Delhiite, I have lived in pollution for entire 18 years of my life. So when I wake up, we have a beautiful lake in just in like the lakeside stairs. So when we get to see that view, that sunset and that sunrise, it's another world altogether for me. I've lived in pollution for 18 years and now I'm living in a natural space. So for me, this is heaven.
Delhi being the world's most polluted capital, definitely you would have this kind of opinion about Raipur. So it is a beautiful campus from what I've heard. And though it is far off from the railway station, airport is quite near.
Yeah.
Because now you have a good internet connections, so we would like to hear more from Harsimran. So there's a question: how to prepare for legal aptitude as a section? What was your strategy?
So, sir, I personally loved law a lot. Like, it was out of interest that I chose this subject. So, I started studying things like I studied Contract Act, I studied torts, even though, like, earlier the pattern was different. So, I just studied it out of interest, and it was so helpful that I have those notes today. We have law of contracts in our first year, and it helped me a lot. So, if you have time and if you have that kind of liberty, just study. And there are a lot of good books like which give you past year papers as well, so you can go through them. At least the sample papers were released by the consortium because the pattern was changed. So now though it's like a reading comprehension only. I call it a reading comprehension because the earlier CLAD pattern included a lot of things that you need to learn, but now it's more of an inherent thing. So things have changed, but if you are really interested in law, you can start preparing and you can start studying. There is no harm. You just take a recent topic, study it as such that take a for example, if some case is in light, then like I prepared Sabrimala, so you start studying about right to equality. You connect constitution there, start connecting the dots. So that's how I prepared for legal aptitude.
So students think that okay, we will attend all the classes, we'll go through the study material, we will try to read up as much as we can. But the problem lies in the retention part. So how to retain all that information, especially about GK? Amok, would you like to answer this one?
See, the thing with GK is I am very weak in GK, and I think I got, I don't think I got decent marks in GK, but I got up in other subjects. The thing with GK is you just have to be aware of the things that are happening.
So now Amog is having internet-related issues. We'll move back to Harsimran. Chaliye. So HNLU Raipur doesn't have a very good internet connection. This is one downside. And I think
bring your routers and LAN cables because the network is not that good.
So bring your LAN cable along with you when you join this college. And otherwise, student committee will definitely try to get it updated.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are trying.
Chaliye. So there's a question that if you get into some lower ranked law school next year, when you upgrade, do you get to join the second year or will you have to restart from first year?
To restart. This happened with one of my friends.
Course. So obviously you cannot leave it midway. So it's a 5-year integrated dual degree program. So even if you leave at 4th year of your program, you will again start with first year. But there have been exceptions to the rule. Like a couple of years back, HNLU Gandhinagar came up with 5 seats in second year, and students from other national schools were allowed to join directly in the second year. So that is a one-off case that doesn't happen every year. Even HNLU only came up with such 5 seats once, right? So otherwise you are not allowed to leave it. There's a question. What is TNLS? It is Tamil Nadu National Law School, Trichy, Renko. There's another question. How to remember current affairs? Would anyone of you like to answer that?
Remembering is just about repetition, I believe. If you read something every day, I personally, even I was very weak in current affairs and general knowledge, particularly general knowledge. I used to paste sticky notes on the wall itself, like my study room had all of it. So if it's in front of your eyes, you get to see it every day and you get to remember it. I even had a map pasted so that I get to know about what all countries are there, what's happening around the globe. I used to connect the dots in that map.
Aditya, how important is it to have a proper study plan? And does it really help if you go in a structured manner with your preparation?
Sir, I think it's very important because when I was preparing for my CLAT, I have personally, I am not that kind of a student who studies for 12 hours or 16 hours in a day. That is not what I believe in. But I used to study just 6 to 8 hours only. But what I used to do was I had a structure, I had a plan in mind. I used to follow that plan. I'm going to do GK today. If I'm having a certain problem in my mock, I analyze the mock, I understand my problems, I understand my weaknesses, I work on them. So it could be a different strategy every week. It could be a strategy based on what's going wrong for you, and you need to work on that efficiently. But I think I don't believe that you need to study the entire day. You don't need to have fun if you're preparing for CLAT. Not at all. It is a part of life. You should go to eat somewhere. You should go to take a walk. That is very important. In fact, if you sit idle at a place all the time, that kind of makes you more dull. So it's more important for you to do your physical activities as well, do fun as well. But study when you are studying. And I will say one thing for the younger generation, especially I will say younger generation because even I am just 23. But the thing is, what I believe, in my time, there was one difference which is not there at this point of time. During our time, we did not have so much of mobile phones and internet. But in this day and age, mobile phones and internet is ruling the world. That is what I think. So if you are studying for 1 hour, and if you are using your phone 4 times in between that 1 hour, trust me, that 1 hour of study is of no use. So I will suggest you study for 1 hour only, but study without your phone. Then you get back to your phone, use it for half an hour, then study again. Don't use both of them at once. Varna, so it's gonna be a disaster. That is what I personally have experienced in my boards, and I have tried to not repeat it in my CLAT. So that is what I'll tell you.
So. Okay, student is saying aag lage phone ko, and yes, Modi ji, I completely second you on that. But you can also use it for good things. Well, anyways, so moving on, how important are internships in your law school journey? And is HNLU Raipur helping out students to get good internships?
Personally, I will tell you that if you want to get a corporate job, what I have seen, I have studied at a traditional university also. I was there at Calcutta University for a year. After which I came to HNLU Raipur. So I have seen both sides of the coin. I have seen how a traditional university works, how an NLU works. So what I think is, in terms of a corporate job, yes, internships are most important in my opinion, highest importance actually. Your GPA, if you have a certain GPA above 70%, that's good. If you have a couple of moods or a couple of papers in your CV, that will do. But most importantly, if you haven't interned at good places, you won't get a job, because that's the most important thing. Trust me, theory may, no matter how much you study in the books, if you don't know how to apply it in practice, it does not matter, because theory is something all of us can learn, but practical application is something you need to understand it perfectly to become a lawyer. And I'm not scaring you, because it's not necessary you learn it in these 5 years. Maybe you'll learn it in these 5 years, or maybe you learn it when you enter your job. That is how we all learn. You keep learning over the period
There's
of
a
time.
question,
So
what is a
I'll,
GPA? Can you throw some light on that?
yes, sir.
What is a GPA?
Yeah,
The question.
a GPA is basically a cumulative marks which you get. I think a lot of guys know GPA because 10 standard kids in CBSE are getting GPA these days. Like, you have a 10 GPA as your highest. So 10 GPA basically translates to 95%, because it is multiplied by 9.5. So the GPA system in HNLU is that you have your highest marker as 7, and you are marked on a scale of 7 in the place of 10. So if you have a GPA of 6.5, that is amazing, and that is like kind of really good, matlab difficult to achieve kind of GPA. But if you have a GPA above 5 also, I will suggest that's a quite good GPA. Every law firm, you are eligible for every law firm with that GPA. Now after that, you go work on your internship. If they get impressed by you, they give you a job after that. So that's how it works.
So, well, another thing that students are really scared of is ragging at these law schools. Harsimran, would you like to throw some light on that? Have you ragged a few new joiners this year? Or were you ragged when you joined law school?
No, sir, there's no as such ragging culture here. It's just about positively interacting with the seniors. And that kind of interaction is very necessary because we get to learn a lot of things from our seniors when you come to a new place. And even in the online world, it was all new for us. And we need to know about the place, we need to know about the subjects and everything from each small, minute detail to every major thing. Seniors are a great support. Like yesterday, only day before yesterday, I was texting Aditya sir regarding some things. So we keep asking our seniors and they keep helping us. So that kind of relationship is there with the juniors as well. Here at times juniors come. So I'll make a flex here. We were talking about GPAs and all. So because I am a top ranker in the batch, so what happens is that juniors come in and they keep asking me about how to prepare for the subjects. So that kind of interaction is very necessary. And meanwhile, if we ask them to introduce themselves and if we are asked to introduce ourselves, we won't call that as ragging. So there's no as such ragging in HNLU. Everything is very positive here when it comes to
So
the.
can you just allow Amogha to turn on his video, because he is
Yes,
unable to turn it on?
Okay. Welcome back, Amog. Asha, so another question would be that what is the demographic divide in your college like? So let's say gender ratio in every batch, and state-wise, how many people are from southern part, how many from eastern part of India? So Amog is back, so let Amog answer this time. Yes, buddy.
Gender ratio is about 50%, I think. Yeah.
Something that students should look up to.
I mean, if you want to, you look up to it, you can. I don't think it'll be a problem. There's a 50 gender ratio divide. And I'd say there are more students from the northern part of India than the southern part of India. But in the junior batches, I've noticed there has been an increase in people from the south. Slight increase, but noticeable.
So traditionally, the Hindi Heartland has been the main bulk of the aspirants of CLET exams. Like 50% CLET aspirants are from the top Hindi belt states: Delhi, UP, Uttar Pradesh, then Delhi, then Bihar, then Rajasthan, and then Madhya Pradesh. These are the top 5.
We also have a 50%. I think 50% state. So we have Chhattisgarh people as well. People, not local people as well.
So how is Chhattisgarh, yes?
Just like any other Indian cities. And I wouldn't say, I just don't find them any different from the rest of us. Apart from, and as far as I'm concerned, they speak Hindi. So it's
all same.
Yeah, all same. Just like just like how I'm a Madrasi to them, they are Hindis to me. That's all.
So I will try to take a couple of more questions. There's a question: is it possible to start prefer CLAT when in 12th? Well, Amog was started in 11th standard, and Harsimran also started in 11th, but both of them got serious when they came to 12th class. So basically, I can say that these guys also prepared for only 1 year. So how did you balance between your class 12 preparation and your CLAT prep?
I think Harsimran has to answer this question because I did a correspondence course, so I didn't have to worry about my board exam. I just got, I think, 60% or something in my 12, and I just flew by. I didn't have any worry. I just focus on class.
So how much of class 12 score will matter in your law school admission?
You just need to have, I think, 50% to qualify. To qualify to CLAT. Huh?
45%.
Yeah, 45%. And as long as you have that, I think you're good to go.
So I just wanted them to hear it from your mouth. So your class 12 percentage will not matter much.
No. If it mattered, I don't think I'd have been in this college at all, because I got 60%, so it's fine.
Chali, Harsimran. So how did you balance your class 12 prep and your law school preparation? You are a topper of your batch, so I think you would know the best how to handle it.
In school, I used to do great, but it was because I chose the subjects of my choice. The subjects were history, political science, all the humanities subjects, and there somehow the syllabus. I found that when I was preparing for CLAT, my preparation was automatically done for boards. I don't know, but we were studying political science somehow or the other. We were studying history. There was some common points which I could relate, and also I did not prepare for boards a lot. Like I started preparing when the exam was very near, and the majority of my time was towards the CLAT preparation, because I knew that at the end I want to clear the entrance exam. It's not about board marks. But when you prepare for an exam seriously and you kind of have a very good study schedule and all, and you know how to manage things, then you automatically are in a position to handle board exams. Seem very easy when you ace CLAT preparation. So for me, it was the case that the examination was not much of a burden. Board exams were not much of a burden. They were easy. When I compared it with CLAT, CLAT was much more.
Okay, there's a question. Shaurya says, how seriously should we take the NIRF ranking of NLUs or universities? So, well, it's true about all the rankings that are available online, whether you look at India Today ranking or NIRF ranking or some other XYZ coaching institute ranking of law schools. Don't rely much on these ranking lists. Rather, check out previous years cutoff data and information like placement track records. Everything is available on the brochure released by all these universities. Everything is available on the official website of CLAT. Just go through each and every brochure, and that will give you enough insight about each and every college. And do check out other insight sessions that we have conducted in the past to know more about other colleges. Okay. There's another doubt. Agar 45% bhi nahi aaye to, then dear student, you will have to reappear or appear for an improvement in your class 12th. Okay. Check. I think we are pretty much done here. So thank you so much once again, guys, for joining for this panel discussion today. And I really enjoyed it. I hope students got to learn a lot from you people. And I would request all of you to work towards getting a better internet connection at HNLU Raipur. Otherwise, my students, when they come to your college, they are not going to like it at all. So life without pollution is great, but life without internet is horrible. So with this note, I would like to thank all of you once again for joining me today. And thank you all the viewers for joining this session today. Chaliye guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Amuga. Thank you, Harsimran.